AITA for taking my parents' assignment too literally and being too honest? My parents called for a family meeting last Sunday and said they were realizing that we didn't have the happy little tight-knit family they had expected to have. They expressed that we had all been closer when we were little kids. For context, it's me, 16 meters, my brother James, 14 meters, and my other brother Easton, 12 meters. But now it felt like we never spent time as brothers. Especially me and James. And that sharing a room they would have expected more from us. My parents said they wanted us to all be totally open and honest about how we felt and to express if we had any issues with the family to get out of the way. They said they weren't going to take a turn until after the three of us spoke first, and we couldn't leave until we opened up and said everything. I told them I felt like they had somewhat unrealistic goals, that they ignored some stuff that had been mentioned to them in the past that would have made the lack of closeness less of a surprise, and that it was weird for them to pretend they had no idea of anything going on. I admitted that I hate sharing a room with James, that personality-wise, he and I clash, and that he relies too much on being the younger brother and getting his own way, which annoys me. I said I had told them this before. James will set up these sleepover nights for him and me on the floor, and he'll expect me to play football outside with him until it's close to midnight and then go in and watch movies that bore me to tears and sleep in our sleeping bags instead of our beds. I said he started insisting we do things he enjoys when we were like 8 and 10, and ever since that point hanging out with him has not been fun for me. It has not made me feel closer to him. I admitted that I would rather share with Easton. I also said I had brought this stuff to my parents' attention before, and even complained when he was messing up my side of the room and left me to clean up, which my parents expected me to do instead of him. I also mentioned that I hate hanging out with his friends who I have nothing in common with. I told my parents they overlooked James being mean to Easton, that it might be due to jealousy and resentment that I'm closer to Easton, or it might be due to Easton being the youngest, but they would never let me say to James what James can say to Easton. I also said they treat us like we're little kids. They will tell us to go hang with much younger kids and do their activities at family houses, and they'll tell us no video games until we play outside. And that even after 16 years of knowing me, they still can't accept that I don't like sports, and it's not my idea of fun to kick a ball or run around, and it never has been. James was upset about the stuff I said about him, especially about not wanting to hang out with him and his friends. My parents were furious with me and said I had no right to say all that. I said I was doing what they asked, and they said that wasn't what they asked for. AITA? NTA. Your parents didn't think this through. You did, though. If you had a therapist in the room, they would have applauded you for getting to the heart of the matter, as long as you weren't gratuitously cruel to your mid-bro in how you said it, such as by name-calling, contemptuous looks, etc. You deserved an A here. You understood the assignment perfectly and were open and honest. NTA. And your parents were fools to think a conversation like that was ever going to go well. I guess just like pretending you were one big, happy family. You were supposed to lie to preserve the illusion. They are completely wrong for being upset with you. Truth hurts sometimes. My parents said they wanted us to all be totally open and honest about how we felt and to express if we had any issues with the family to get out of the way. My parents were furious with me and said I had no right to say all that. I said I was doing what they asked, and they said that wasn't what they asked for. That's exactly what they asked for. NTA. NTA. I don't know what they were expecting when they wanted you all to be honest. You were honest and pointed out the things which were causing discord in your life. If they didn't like the answer, they shouldn't have asked. NTA. They asked. You answered. You might suggest to them that if they'd like to explore this further, family counseling with a neutral therapist might be more productive than asking for honesty and then yelling about it. I think you're really going to like college. Parents. Be honest parents. No, not like that sorry your parents suck dude. NTA. NTA. They didn't want you to open up. They wanted you to admit that you were just pretending not to be close. Sounds you have a golden child in your midst. That sucks. Does James ever do things with you that you want to do? Part of the problem is that the teenage years are divided into much smaller life stages. 14 and 16 are way different developmentally. 14 is barely out of the girl cooties stage, and at 16 you're thinking about and planning post-high school. That you and your brother are very different people, and your parents seeming to favor your brother over you isn't helping. You are too old to have your parents trying to force friendships even if they are with your siblings. It sounds like the only people who had a problem with your sibling relationships were your parents. What your parents are doing should have been done a decade ago. NTA. You will probably get close again when you're older. But you three are still becoming yourselves. And it's normal to start liking different things. I'm surprised your parents don't know relationships can't be forced. NTA. Sounds like they wanted a Hallmark moment and they received a list of things that need improvement. Instead, truth can get pretty harsh. NTA. Sounds like your parents said to be honest, so they come out looking good for being so open, but still actually expected you to keep the peace so they can continue living in fantasy land. It's totally on them, and you did exactly what they asked. They can be mad, but you have done nothing wrong except not play along with their fantasy. NTA. Now you know who the favorite is. Said they were realizing that we didn't have the happy little tight-knit family they had expected to have. I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed to go downhill if this is the starting point. It's almost like they've not realized that you and your brothers are real people with personalities and preferences and opinions. NTA. Although you could perhaps have been a little more tactful towards your brothers. NTA. Of course they're pissed. You insulted their favorite from the sound of it. How dare you be honest after being specifically asked to be honest. NTA. NTA. You were honest. Maybe sit down with just your parents and ask what they wanted to hear, because they already knew there was an issue between you guys. It sounds like your parents aren't ready for you all to grow up and have a vision for their perfect family, and that's not what they are getting. But it's not up to you to fix this. It's up to your parents. NTA. Your parents told you to be honest and you were. It sounds as though everything you said went in one ear and out the other. Sadly, your parents had no intention of actually listening to you. You are 16, so hang in there. You'll be out of the house soon enough. It's a shame your parents didn't take the opportunity to help the situation. They have probably doomed you ever being close to James. Maybe Easton will have better luck down the road. NTA. Your parents for feigning ignorance. You, for your lack of compassion and not seeing the bigger picture. Don't like kicking a ball outside? Go outside for a walk before video games. JHVBBVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVV
Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.